go across. So we have a very special guest joining us at this point, going across to His Excellency Abdillahi Assoweh Isse, the Ambassador of the Embassy of Djibouti to India. Namaste and thank you very much, Ambassador. My first question to you: the Africa Union now a permanent member of the G20. Your thoughts?
Thank you very much for inviting me. It is a special day today because African Union has joined G20, who will become G21, and we are very proud about it, and we are very thankful to the Prime Minister, to India first, and then to Prime Minister Modi for advocating for Africa and to be the voice of the global South. I am sure that without Africa, the world cannot go on, and without India, the world cannot go on. Now, the conjunction of these two forces, I think, will bring positive thing to the world. Thank you very much.
Ambassador, if I may ask you, Djibouti is very strategically placed and there was a very close engagement with China. Today, Djibouti also finds itself in a debt trap. Do you believe nations need to come together to help such nations?
Well, first of all, let me tell you one thing. Djibouti is a sovereign country and has relation with all the world and all countries in the world. But I have to precise that Djibouti has very ancient relations with India, and there is a lot of community living in Djibouti, Indian community. When myself, I have been to school with 5 Indians, and up to now we are still friends from childhood up to now. So these ancient relations that are commercial ties since decades and centuries is bringing us to have new and more connected ties, more connected than before, to bring development to Djibouti and to bring and to help India shine all over the world.
Do you believe the African nations should be more involved in the process of contributing to the global economy? Do you agree with India's pitch that emerging nations, including India and a lot of the African nations, should have the first right to use of resources?
Well, absolutely, because the rest of the world must understand one thing. The most populated people are not in Western countries. They are in Asia, in Africa. So putting aside those people will not help the rest of the world. At the opposite, it will even harm them because of migration, because of economical constraint, and because of resources, natural resources, human resources are on the Indian side and African side. So it will be very positive for them to cooperate and to give the priority of their cooperation with India or Africa or the global South, because we must not forget that half of the planet is composed, even more, is composed by the global South. Thank you.
Do you believe the World Bank should come together to help nations who are riddled with debt to try and help them service the debt and also emerge out of a financial crisis? Your Excellency?
I think that the chance of the so-called developer world is to have a strong Africa, a strong India, because now this is the time for global South to raise, and we can see the decline of the economy because of financial crisis of the so-called Western world or Northern world. So as many leaders have said from the West, now the next place to be is in Africa and India, and we can already see it with India, because India, 60% of the leaders of major CEO of major companies in America are Indian origin. So we can already see how the quality of Indian has been conquering the world. So Africa, with the opportunity given by this to be part of the G20 and to be part of the UN at the Security Council, this is what also another file that Mr. Prime Minister Modi is fighting for Africa. to Africa to be present all the world at the United Nations, at the World Bank, and at the BRICS and at the G20 will also help balance the financial crisis.
Ambassador, final two questions. Why do you think India can be trusted compared to some of the other nations? African nations have leaned on other nations and they have been hard put, or they have been left with a sense of being exploited. Why can India be trusted?
Because we believe firmly in the South-South cooperation. Because South-South cooperation is not a conditional cooperation. It is a brotherly cooperation with the exchange of knowledge, with the exchange of know-how. We must not forget that Africa now is, most of the countries in Africa are where India used to be a few years ago. Now, if India has taken that step to be almost developed country with a very performant health system, very performant technology at the international artificial level or at any other level, very, very performant in education. So we are following the steps of India, and that's why we trust India, and I hope that India is trusting us. Thank you very much.
Excellency, thank you very much, Ambassador, for joining us and for sharing your thoughts. We wish the Africa Union of Nations all the very, very best, and we look forward to a great partnership. Thank you so much.